Bonta, I'm looking at him right now on YouTube.
He's got the bandana on.
He looks ready.
It's time. It's go time. It's preseason week 3, and Baldy's already in week 5 mode. He's already in week 5 mode. He's already in October football. This guy, we can't get enough of Baldy. Baldy, good morning. We live for the breakdowns. We live to have you on once a week. Baldy, what's happening, my man?
Bonta, Joe, man, it's good to be with you. I'm fresh off a red eye from L.A. That's why, sometimes you just got to jump in the pool, throw the headband on, and just join you guys. I feel like I'm right in the room with you, though, man.
It feels like you're in the room with us.
With you.
Yeah, no, it feels like you're in the room with us, Baldy.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, this is like the power of technology. If I had a pair of headphones, I wouldn't look like a complete dork with the phone up to my ear. But I don't know anything about headphones.
AirPods, Baldy. Hey, AirPods. You got to invest in AirPods.
Baldy.
I just saw a commercial for them. Are they like there's some new thing or something?
Yeah, no, they're legit.
Big billboard in L.A.
Yeah, you should check them out. I love them. But you know what I love more than that? Everybody tries to be a film junkie these days, and I don't knock anyone for trying to get their hustle on. I learn by seeing people's videos, but when I see yours circulating on the internet from your own social media account, I get goosebumps. And I saw one with Drake Jackson. I want to start there. This draft as a whole feels like it is loaded with players that are coming out. And I don't know if it's the COVID thing or what. I know a lot of USC players maybe underperformed under the former coach. It feels like Drake Jackson is a first-round pick who fell to the bottom of the second round. Why are you so enamored with Drake Jackson, the second-round pick that the 49ers have on the D-line?
Man, there's a lot to be excited about, Joe. I mean, I think one of the reasons why he fell was, he played heavy to try to play a defensive end. Then he tried to get lighter to play outside linebacker, and they kind of moved him around. But he's a 4-3 defensive end, right side, left side right now. He's got great takeoff. He obviously has good strength, but he's got these ankles that are like Gumby. Like he can just bend, and so when you watch him, he can turn the corner. That's what you got to be able to do. You got to be able to turn the corner and turn it with some power. And that he has shown that. He had a really good game the other night. The week before, he made a couple of plays. I don't know if he has to start right now. I think eventually he will. But I think right now he's in a solid rotation where he's going to contribute right away week 1.
Well, how does that help with Bosa on the other side? Because I know you and we got a bromance when it comes to Bosa. So, if you're an offense going up against those guys down the line when Drake's like a full-time player, you got Armstead, maybe Kinlaw or Givens in there, and Bosa on the other end. How does that help that defensive line?
Well, you try to get 4. You try to get 4 sharks up front, that all can win one-on-ones, Joe, because so you're looking at, if you feel like you got a chip with the back to help on Bosa, which most teams do in some way or another, or they slide to him and they're trying to get 3 on 2 if you're just rushing 4, that's going to lead up a one-on-one for Drake or Eric Armstead or somebody else. And so it really puts your protection in a bind. And generally what you end up doing, if you want to push the ball down the field, Joe, if it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 13, you end up keeping a back and or a tight end in, and you only get 3 receivers out. So it really helps your overall coverage.
Brian Baldinger live on YouTube and Twitch here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. Subscribe to us on Twitch and YouTube. Just search 95.7 The Game. And you'll see Baldy with that cool bandana on breaking down 49ers football. You mentioned it, Baldy. He could play the D4 role for a little bit, 20 to 25 snaps early on, Drake Jackson that is, and then still have an impact on the game. But I want to talk about big number 99. We know we love the big uglies inside. You just hit on it. If Bosa is seeing double teams and triple teams, how much easier is the game going to be for Javon Kinlaw, who looks like he's in the best shape of his NFL career?
Well, that's what happened last week, Bonta. He got the single last week over the right guard in Minnesota, and he beat the single block, the right guard. The center was sliding to the left. Kinlaw was lining up over the right guard, and he won. And he's got to be able to win. I mean, they drafted him, to replace a really good player, and now the injuries are the injuries. You got to deal with that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But he's got to have a monster season. There's no doubt. I mean, if he does, because this whole team is built around the front 4. What I do love about what D'Amico has done and Kasarik has done is they literally haven't blitzed at all in the preseason. I can count them on one hand.
Wow.
They're letting their front 4 just learn how to go to work. Let their front 4 go affect the quarterback. That's kind of, to me, it's a conscious decision to go do that. I know that Fred Warner likes to be the fifth guy coming in there. I know they can blitz the slot corner. Like, they have shown the propensity to do that, to get 5, but not in the preseason. Preseason is up for this rotation to go to work, because there's a lot of guys in there right now competing for 8 or 9 jobs in that defensive line.
Yeah, as we stay on that same side of the ball, are there a couple of guys that maybe stick out to you when it comes to the secondary, good or bad? Because we know that the soft spot in this defense, at least for the last couple of years, has kind of been that secondary, whether it's corner, whether it's the safety because of the injuries. So are there any guys that are sticking out, good or bad?
Well, I'm a Charvarius Ward fan. And so, he had a really good run in Kansas City, Super Bowl run, and he can play press, he can play man. I mean, he's one of these free agents that come in there, and you can't tell that he's a free agent, that he's undrafted. I mean, he's just a good, solid football player. I think they've upgraded their position by making that a priority signing.
Baldy, let's look at the running back room for a second here. Switch over to the offensive side of the football. A lot of emphasis going to be on the offensive line. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But Trey Sermon, a former third-round pick out of Ohio State, has got a lot of fans up in arms because he doesn't look decisive. He looks hesitant running the football, where you look at TDP, Ty Davis-Price, or this Mason kid coming off the bench. They're running hard. They're running effective. What's going on with Trey Sermon? What do you see from him running the football for the 49ers?
I see the same thing, Bonta. I do. I mean, look, we know Elijah Mitchell. And you could make this claim, like last year at this time, we didn't know Elijah Mitchell was going to be what he is. You got to put him in there with the game situation. You like to see him in there with Trenton there. Maybe it makes a big difference. But he doesn't look like the same type of contact back that Ty Davis-Price looks like, where honestly, he looks like he's a cat on a marble table to me sometimes, the way it bounces off. You can't get him down to the ground. It's not every play, but, he's shown, he's flashed. And that's kind of like really all you need to see, to me, from running backs. Like, they got to be able to flash. And what you're saying, Bonta, is you haven't seen that flash from Trey Sermon.
Yeah.
And I don't either. I don't see it. And I don't know if they see it. Because, I know he had the injuries last year. He got a chance early. But I never saw it last year. And running backs aren't like offensive guards that all of a sudden, they can flourish in their second year. Or defensive tackles.
Right.
Like, you look at Kevin Givens, his rookie year, you could see the flash already from him. The way he got off blocks, the way he could change directions. Then he just needed to really kind of refine himself in how they like to play in San Francisco. But I just don't see that yet from Trey, and that's unusual for a back. Usually it shouldn't take you very long.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Brian Baldinger on the Morning Roast on 85.7 The Game,
He's
breaking
so
it down.
Right now on YouTube. I love it.
Dude, a lot of people asking Baldy whether or not they could be your personal assistant. They want to be with you on game day. We were talking before you came on the air. How cool of a job would that be? I always thought Ernie Johnson had the best job in the world with inside the NBA, but I don't think there's a cooler job than being Baldy's assistant on game day, where they're standing on a logo at the 50-yard line, setting the tone here. But set the tone with the offensive line. You're a former offensive lineman, and that's the number one thing a lot of us here in San Francisco are concerned with. Outside of Trent Williams, a lot of newbies here. We got news about Mike McGlinchey not practicing this week. We're going to see a lot of Colton McKivitz this Thursday against the Houston Texans, and as well as Adam Banks. Where is this young man at from Notre Dame in his second season?
We're so used to seeing the same guys over the last couple of years. I'm just so used to seeing Laken Tomlinson in there at left guard.
Yeah.
He started 85 straight games. So you just got consistency from those guys, and that's what you're hoping to get. You got to give these guys time. It's a real question mark right now. I think it's a question mark losing Mike McDaniels and Mike McDaniel and what he brought to that offense. Not knocking anybody else that's there right now, but Justin School's in there at left tackle the other day. They're just trying to find their best 5 right now. And that position, especially in the run game, is coached so meticulously. Footwork, hands, location, point of references. Like, there's so many different spots you got to hit. And Trent Williams, you can't even use him as an example because he's just a different guy that nobody else can move like. And plus, he's had a number of years in the system in Washington. So you got to give these times you got to give these guys time to work and to get there. It might, like I've been telling people, September's the new August. Nobody's playing. You know, some teams play a little bit more than others, but in general, nobody's really playing. And so I believe September, it might be rough for a little while. Like, we might not see this thing look like a symphony week one.
Yeah.
You might need to give it some time.
Yeah. And we got Brian Baldinger on with us right now. If you're not on, go on YouTube, search 957 The Game, hit subscribe. You get to see what he looks like. If you're missing this interview, you're in and out of the car, you can go back on the YouTube page and check that out. Baldy, let's get to the quarterback spot. We know Trey Lance didn't really play this week in terms of, in the preseason for the film, so I won't ask you about him this week. But we signed Sudfeld to a 2-year deal, and now there's Brock Purdy mania going on here, and everybody's losing their minds about the backup quarterback. If they cut him, will he be claimed by another team? Break down the backup quarterback situation for the 49ers. What do you see from both guys?
Well, Brock Purdy, I mean, I actually have a pretty good personal experience with him. He went to Iowa State. Matt Campbell recruited him, and I actually did his first start in the Big 12.
Wow.
I don't know what year it was, 2019, maybe, something like that. So, I mean, he was highly, highly recruited.
Really?
And so it starts, he was very highly recruited. Matt Campbell felt good. And he didn't start him right away. He started him I think I was up there week 3 or week 4 up in Ames, Iowa. And, he came in there and he's just one of these smart kids. He knows where to go with the ball. He was like that at Iowa State. Sudfeld went to Indiana. I can't remember exactly, but he might have crossed paths with Kyle Shanahan in Washington. I know he's drafted by Washington, won a Super Bowl with the Eagles as a backup.
Right.
So, I've seen Nate play a long time. He just hasn't played much football, but he's been well trained. He's been trained well. I know they trained him hard. Doug Peterson in that group trained him really well in Philadelphia. Got a long look at him. He's a tall guy. He's not real mobile. I think he started maybe one game in Philadelphia with Nick Foles.
Yeah, that was the game that when he started, everyone went crazy because they thought Sirianni was tanking.
Yeah, right. so that was just a mess. And so they felt like they had to give him a shot, whatever. But, neither guy has any experience. So no. I mean, Nate's been around a long time. Maybe he's just can sponge a little bit more than Brock can at this point. My guess is that Sudfeld would be the backup right now just because he's been around the league for, 7 or 8 years, something like that. So that'd be my guess right now.
Let me give you a Brock Purdy comp. You remember Sean Hill? Remember Sean Hill back in the day?
Brock Purdy comp. This people may not like this, but, he's not real tall. I'd say he's like a Chase Daniel.
Oh, okay.
Chase Daniel's been 13 years in this league.
Spent a lot of money.
He's the same size he was coming out of Missouri. Maybe a little pudgier. And I'm not saying that Brock is pudgy, but he's a little on that size.
Oh man, and Baldy, as we look around the league, let me ask you this: the Ravens' preseason streak, is that the quirkiest streak you've ever seen in pro football? They've won 22 straight preseason games. We know they draft well. They kill the middle rounds with their picks. They got some 6'4" dude likely. You're like, who the hell is this guy out of Coastal Carolina? Is that the strangest streak you've ever seen in pro football?
It's one of them, because I don't think they go into every preseason game going,
right.
Pregame speech from John Harbaugh. Let's win number 22 in a row. But, they restocked pretty well. That Isaiah Likely now, they only had 6 fourth-round picks. He was their second of their tight ends they drafted in the 4th round. This kid, he's out of Cambridge, Massachusetts. Wasn't recruited. I'll give you the whole story on Isaiah Likely. Wasn't recruited highly. Ended up going to Coastal Carolina, and became, he was a wide receiver, grew into a tight end body, runs routes like a wide receiver, was excellent after the catch. So, but it's a quirky streak. They're going up against Kyle. They're going up against Kai last week, he's trying to, call plays. And so, I haven't seen a backup quarterback or quarterback call plays in the preseason before.
We're kind of losing our minds about Trey Lance. Every day we get practice reports. He threw, 2 touchdowns. He threw 4 interceptions. Like, it's crazy to me because I know that the appetite for Niner football is through the roof, but we are literally overanalyzing everything from the way he's tying his shoes to the social media videos. Like, is this all much ado about nothing from your perspective, or is there maybe some nuance that I'm missing? You're a former player. Let me know what you think about these practice reports.
So, Joe, I've been to 12 different training camps this year, and I'm leaving to go to Miami tomorrow for the Eagles-Dolphins scrimmage, so everybody's going to talk about Tua down there.
Yeah.
I think you have to let players just, first of all, nobody knows what any of these drills are.
Right.
And it's designed to do.
Yeah.
All right? And so, like, I've never, ever given you, Trey Lance was 16 for 30 in practice today. And I've never been that guy that charted any plays. I don't care about it.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing that's important is his teammates, honestly, and the coach. That's all that matters. And the organization is behind him. He knows they're behind him. And so it's like, I'm sure he feels some level of pressure. I mean, this is the 49ers. This is, one of the greatest franchises in NFL history. Like, there is some pressure to play at that position at a high level. So I'm sure he feels some of that. And when he doesn't have a great day, I'm sure it probably bothers him. But Kyle coaches hard. Like, he's in his face, he's in his ear when he misses a read, makes the wrong call, the wrong check. Like, he's in his ear about all that. He's not letting any of that slide.
No doubt. Brian Baldinger, the best, smartest man in football. We love his breakdowns. We love the commentary in a breakdown. We got to find somebody to be a personal assistant for Baldy every single week, man. We got to get you some interns.
No, we need to get him the Kyler Murray headset that he uses to game and do play calls. We got to get that for you in your office. I'm going to find it.
Only if Baldy could grow his hair out like Kyler.
I wish I could too. I'd have the old pick right in the back of the hair too.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if they use that. I don't know if Kyler has that look anymore.
Yeah. No.
I love the old pick look.
No, I had the old pick. I had an old fro back in the day, Baldy, with the pick right there. It's clutch,
Post that
man.
picture, Bonta.
I got to send it to you.
Wait, before you go, Baldy, did you watch the Woodstock 99? Because you're a concert goer.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Okay, you're a huge concert goer. Before you get out, did you watch the documentary on Woodstock 99?
No, because Woodstock 69 was too damn good. I don't want to see what 99 looked like. I just want to see the original.
Oh, my God.
We love you, Baldy.
So much.
We can't wait for you to be back in the Bay and join us in the studio.
Best.
But Zoom is good enough for us, man.
Thank
Our roasters
so
love it.
We miss you.
Joe, I'm going to find headphones for next week, all right? I'm going to find them.
We'll get you some AirPods. Somebody get Baldy AirPods.
No, I want to get him the Kyler Murray headset so it looks like he's playing like World of Warcraft or Call of Duty.
All right. Next week we're 1 week closer, so it's even going to be more fun.
Thank God.
No doubt, Baldy. You're the best, man.
Have a great week, bud.